Okay, so this year Apple will release the iPhone 7, and as usual it will probably be completely redesigned and have a lot of new cool features and so on. But personally I think the iPhone 6s Plus is almost a perfect device. Everything is the best you can get on that device. There is not much to change really. But I have a wish list for what I want the iPhone 7 to have and to be. And one of the things that I want the iPhone 7 to have is a better front-facing camera. The camera I use for this CARVLOG, for example. I want that camera to be able to record at least in 1080p or even 4K video, but at least 1080p. At the moment it only records in 720p, and that's a bit low I think. And I need to use the front-facing camera because the front-facing camera doesn't use optical image stabilization, and I need to have that turned off to record these CARVLOGs, because if I use the rear-facing camera with the optical image stabilization, then the video quality gets terrible here in the car, unfortunately. So I need a better front-facing camera to record better videos, for example CARVLOGs. It would be great also to have a better front-facing camera, because then you can see yourself in the display while recording videos, so you can see that the video gets better. That's my first wish for the iPhone 7. The second wish is that I want the iPhone 7 to be even thinner and lighter. The iPhone 6s Plus is huge and quite heavy too, so it makes it hard to handle with one hand because it's so heavy and thick. So if the iPhone 7 could be even thinner and lighter, then I could handle the phone much easier with one hand and so on. I work a lot on my devices, so I work a lot on the iPhone, and then I need to have the device very light and thin so I can work all day on the phone. So if Apple removes the headphone jack, for example, and having another chip in it and so on, so it can be even thinner than it is now, that would be great. And the third wish I have is that I would like to have the Touch ID button directly into the display itself, because then Apple can have an even larger display in the same sized phone. For example, a 5.7 inch or even a 6-inch display in the same sized phone as the iPhone 6s Plus. Or they can make the 5.5 inch display in a smaller iPhone. So the iPhone 7 Plus will be smaller but still have a 5.5 inch display, because then the device will be smaller and easier to handle with one hand because of that. So if Apple can remove the Touch ID button and have it directly into the display, then we can either have an even larger display or a smaller device. That would be awesome. My fourth wish would be to have a camera that is not protruding on the back. Not because of the design. I don't think the protruding camera on the iPhone 6s Plus is ugly or anything. I want it to be flat on the back because I want to lay my phone down on a flat surface, for example a table. So I would like to have a camera that is not protruding on the back on the iPhone 7. That is my fourth wish. The camera itself on the iPhone 6s Plus is good enough, so no need to have a better camera there. But I would like to have the option in the camera app to turn off optical image stabilization. We don't have that now, unless you don't use a third-party app for the camera, for example Filmic Pro. But with the normal default Apple app for the camera, then you can't turn off OIS, optical image stabilization. And that sucks because I need to turn it off while recording this car vlog, for example. So that is my 5th wish, to be able to turn off the optical image stabilization. But that's more a software issue and not hardware. And the rest is actually perfectly fine on the iPhone. I mean, the processor is good enough, it's so powerful, so even if they had the same processor as the iPhone 6s Plus, then the iPhone 7 would still be powerful enough because it's so fast, incredibly fast. The iPhone 6s Plus is one of the fastest devices I have ever used, really. It renders videos really fast and everything. So it definitely don't need a faster processor, but I know that the iPhone 7 will get a faster processor as usual. And more RAM is not needed either, because the iPhone 6s Plus has 2 GB of RAM, and that is still more than enough for iOS. But of course, having 3 GB or 4 GB of RAM would be cool, but it's not necessary. My next wish, though, is that I want Apple to move the power button a bit, because as it is now, the power button is at the same level as the volume up button on the other side of the phone. So I very often click on both the power button and the volume button at the same time by mistake. So if they move the power button a bit, then that wouldn't happen. So that would be really nice if Apple could do on the iPhone 7. So that was my wish list for the iPhone 7. The rest is kind of perfect with the iPhone 7 as it is now on the iPhone 6s Plus. So I'm very happy with my iPhone 6s Plus, really. The material, the design and everything. I wish it was lighter and thinner though. Okay, bye.